So I just saw a little segment of Andrew Tate's podcast with James English, and he was talking about Tommy Robinson and was talking about how if you believe there's evil in the world, the combat to that is God. All right. And that, well, if your God can be mocked, how can that be God? So what he was trying to imply was that because people are able to mock Jesus Christ and Christians don't do anything about it, right? Nothing violent or physical or anything like that. But when people talk about Muslims react either react violently or physically or in a way that you wouldn't want to mess with them. So because they react like that, he's saying, so that has to be the real God because they're reacting in that way. And I thought to myself, my initial reaction hearing that, I was like, that has to be one of the stupidest ideologies I've ever heard. Andrew Tate is a very, very intelligent guy who I've learned a lot from. I've prayed for him. When he was in jail, I was praying for him. I've been wishing him the best because I see he's important to the movement for men. And I still think he is. But that ideology is so flawed and so silly because has nothing to do with God. You are equating a human reaction and saying, because these people are willing to fight for this thing so much, it means that it must be right. Liberals are willing to die for liberal ideology, and you know the liberal ideology is satanic. So you're now saying, so what does that have to do with God? Why don't you look and follow God for yourself directly? When he was talking about being a Christian, he was never a Christian. That's just cap. If you're a Christian, it means you are a follower of Christ, a follower of Jesus. He complained about what Christians were not doing, but he was not living the life himself. If he cared so much about it, why wasn't he the example that he was supposed to be? Instead, he was talking about what other people aren't doing. Now, him choosing the way he has chosen to go about it, looking like, oh, okay, this is the right religion because these people are willing to combat and fight people speaking against their beliefs in a certain way. He is only picking the side that he believes it's a physical thing where he's picking, oh, let me pick the side that's strongest. What does that have to do with God? Did God say that's how people are supposed to react? You think God could not defend himself if he's so pleased to defend himself? So, I mean, Jesus himself came to die on the cross of Calvary, right? And allowed people to kill him. He allowed them so that God's will be done. And you think that it's all about bravado and who's the most brash and everything. Bro, that's one of the silliest things I've ever heard. I'll say it right now, man. And people listening to him need to be very careful, because now it's like a trend. All these guys are following him and following what he's doing, and they're like, oh, yeah. They don't even know anything about Islam, in general. They're just following it because they hear Andrew Tate talking about it. If he was saying like, anyhow, man, if he talked about, just said he was a Muslim because he's a Muslim and gave his reasons, it makes sense, like you can say for whatever reason, but he's talking about which God people are willing to fight for the most. Like, man, following God is a spiritual thing, and I personally will tell you, for one, like as a follower of Christ who has a relationship with Christ, I could never not be a Christian or a follower of Christ because I actually know him and he knows me. So when you hear someone like that saying, oh, I was a Christian, but they never did what Christ said they should do, but they were always complaining about other people, that's cap, man. Cap. That's all I gotta say.